Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Talos of Tech, live on Twitch. If you missed last stream, welcome to the new setup. Yes, we got more Apple boxes behind me. Yes, they are perfectly straight and upright. Don't question it. And man, are we getting a lot of last-minute leaks this time? Yeah, Kang is dropping all kinds of stuff for us to talk about. I'm sorry if I get them mixed up. Sometimes there's a lot of names I got to keep track of. So I apologize if I pronounce his name incorrectly at any time in the future. It's inevitable. It will happen. But yeah, for one, we're also hearing now that AirTags have been pushed back again. We've been talking about these things since early 2019, I believe, and now they're still not ready. Or maybe they are ready and Apple just figured the pandemic is not a good time to launch geo-tracking devices, which I guess makes sense. I suppose it's somewhat reasonable to be like, hey everyone, check out these new AirTags. You can put them on things so you don't lose everything, but everyone's stuck at home, so they're just like, that's great, Apple, but no one wants those, so we're not going to buy them. And then Apple sees mixed results from their sales, so they just decide, you know what, let's wait. Why not, just hold off on them a little bit longer. Well, it does make us anxious, that's for sure. It's been very, very stressful and been like, well, are we getting AirTags this time? Maybe this time, maybe this time, maybe this time, and they don't come out. Now it sounds like they're pushed till March. It also sounds like we won't see AirPods Studio next week either. That might be pushed to the November event, or knowing Apple, who knows? Maybe they want it to be a site refresh. I don't know, but I'd have loved to have tried them. Yeah, I do too. I would have liked to try them out just to see how they work, and it sounds like pretty much AirTags' sole purpose is like utilizing the ultra wideband chip, which we've now had on the iPhone 11 for over a year, and haven't really been able to utilize the U1 chip for anything. And we're probably going to get the U1 chip on this year's iPhones as well, and not really have a point to it other than just the AirDrop setting, which lets you rotate with the little dots. Other than that, it's like they developed all the silicon and next generation stuff, and they don't really get to utilize them for anything, which is kind of just a little funny that we have all this hardware in our phones that we don't really get to utilize with. I will admit, though, I am pretty frustrated. I'm kind of annoyed with the staggered release of all these upcoming iPhones. Kang has gotten a lot right. I hope he's wrong about this one, though, because I can't recall ever in Apple's past having 3 separate pre-order times for the iPhone series. Oh, it's what, AirDrop setting? It's not a big deal. It's like when you AirDrop a file. Let me try to find an example here. When you AirDrop a file on your phone and you... Oh, you know what might be easier this time is I can change the focus. Let me zoom in here. When I rotate, there's little dots that appear along my iPad. So with the ultra wideband chip, you can let me get that back in focus if possible. Probably get the chair in focus first, then back up. Yeah. What's essentially possible is if you're in a room full of other devices and you want to prioritize one device to AirDrop to over another, you can literally point the iPhone at that device. No one ever does that, but that's what the U1 chip allows for, and that's pretty much all it's allowed for as of lately. Having better camera specs on the Pro Max but not on the Pro is stupid and un-Apple-like. It's not completely un-Apple-like. I mean, it's unlike recent Apple because they've tried to match camera performance on the Pro phones recently, but in years past, they have very much been in favor of making the plus-sized iPhones have more camera features than the smaller-sized ones. I know some people don't like that, but I'm just saying they have done that, so it's not exactly un-Apple-like. They stopped doing it for a time, but who's to say they can't start doing it again? Same idea as rotating the Xbox controller to dodge things in the game, except it actually works. Yeah, pretty much like that. Mike says, maybe I missed the argument, but why are you against the iPhone 12 Pro? Something to do with so many similar features to the regular iPhone 12? Yeah, I think that's the main thing, is that what Kang is saying in his latest report is that the display panels between the $800 iPhone 12 and the $1,000 12 Pro are the exact same. And we know they're both going to have the A14 chip. So this means that essentially the differences between the two is that the Pro has LiDAR, telephoto, and stainless steel for an extra $200, which I don't know. I think that's too much of a stretch, especially if apparently the storage options for the regular iPhone 12, because one advantage the 12 Pro would have is that it has 128 gigs by default, whereas the $800 iPhone 12 will be 64 gigs. But if you want to opt for the higher storage, again, same displays, same biometrics, same CPU and everything, same color accuracy. They're both Super Retina XDR. And if you want to get the 256 gig storage on the iPhone 12, that'll be $50 cheaper, because it'll be $150 extra, which means that the 256 gig iPhone 12 is $950, 128 gig 12 Pro $1,000. So you're paying a lot extra, in my opinion, for not that big a difference. No promotion. No, promotion's not happening. That's been long gone for a while. If you've been following leaks for a while, you've known that's not going to happen. The differences were never that huge. The Pro Max has literally a completely different camera system. No, Tim, I would argue the 7 Plus was more major. Literally, like when the 7 Plus came out, they were like, here is portrait mode. You can have bokeh and you can take these DSLR-like photos. In the iPhone 7, not only does it not have a telephoto lens, but it does not have portrait mode at all. I would argue the 7 and 7 Plus had a bigger difference in cameras than the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max. So it sounds like 12 Pro Max biggest difference is that the ultra-wide camera is a little bit more wide, which I don't think will be that noticeable in day-to-day photos. It'll be just like slightly different. And then the camera sensor is like 50% larger, which just means it may sound like a big deal, but I don't think feature-wise it's going to allow for that much of a difference. It'll be like, okay, the 12 Pro Max pictures are a little bit more crisp. They're a little bit more detailed, or it's slightly better at night mode. But for the most part, feature-wise, both 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max will all have the same thing. I'm annoyed that Apple undercut themselves with the iPad Air over 2020 Pro. Yeah, it is kind of weird. I don't really like the way they priced the Air 4 either, to be honest. Yeah, ultra-wide. This is going to be super-duper ultra-wide, right? Which I honestly am not sure why they're doing that, because when you do ultra wide on the current iPhones, if you're holding it a certain way, you will actually get your finger to show up in the camera viewfinder. So if they're going even wider this year, you're going to have to hold it downwards even more so. Well, Kang is saying ultra wide won't be the same, but I guess we don't have to wait that long to find out. 50% bigger sensor is great for night photos. Yeah, I'm not saying it'll be identical. I'm just saying it won't be that noticeably different. It'll help a little bit, but I don't think it won't be as big a difference as 7 and 7 Plus. That was a huge difference in my opinion. Let's see. Well, Tim said it here. It'll be the same. Doesn't matter if Kang got everything right last keynote. Tim is now the Tim995. You're the next confirmed leaker. You get everything right. Are the iPad Air bezels thicker than that of the Pro? Yes, Joseph. I've seen a few side by side. Somehow, a few people in China already have the iPad Air 4. I have no idea how, but I've seen a few hands-on videos and side by side pictures. And yes, the Air 4, when you put it side by side with the 11-inch Pro, it does actually look slightly thicker. It's not a huge difference, but it's there. You can tell. I didn't hear about him until the September event. I don't know. Where did any leaker come from? Under a rock, obviously, or Apple's marketing department. Where does any leaker come from? You know, just people who know something. And there's lots of people that make random claims, but we typically follow the ones that make claims that end up being correct. And we tend to not follow the ones that make claims that don't end up being correct. Let's see. The focal length is better. F.1.6. Yeah, they should be the same focal length. Let's see. Kang said the Pro Max will have the 5x zoom with the whole system, which means the wide angle will have the exact same 13mm as the 6.1-inch Pro. Yeah, I think Kang worded things weird, or things got lost in translation, because I was confused by that as well, because we're hearing Kang say the Pro Max, the 12 Pro will have a 4x optical zoom, and the 12 Pro Max will have a 5x optical zoom. But apparently the way he's getting that optical zoom is kind of the same thing Samsung does. Remember when they're like 100x space zoom? Well, it's 100x from the ultra wide. So they're saying it's 100 times further than 0.5. So if we're talking from the standard lens, it's actually a 50x. And Kang is actually saying the same thing, that, well, the ultra wide on the Pro Max up to the standard telephoto that we already have, that's 5x optical zoom, right? But since the regular 12 Pro does not have that ultra wide, but it has the standard telephoto lens, then that's just a 4x optical zoom. So kind of the way he worded it confused me, which is why today's video aged horribly and is inaccurate now. It's apparently the same telephoto lens as before, which I'm not excited about because I got all hyped for 5x optical and 4x optical, but it was worded poorly, which is why so many people got lost in translation. Let's see. That survey that went to Android users saying that 33% of them would consider switching to iPhone 12 is huge. I've been on Android for my phone for the last 4 years, and I've had enough of operating system where it feels so open and like I have no privacy. 100% going with Apple from now on. That's interesting. I wouldn't expect it to be 33%. I wonder how big the sample size is, because I don't know that many people on Android that would be like, yeah, I'll switch to iOS this year. iPhone 12 sounds interesting. I see a lot of people saying that the prices are worse than they thought they were going to be, even though they were pretty much exactly what I thought they were going to be. I've been saying since early 2020 that the iPhones are going to get more expensive this year because 5G modems and OLED displays, those are two very, very pricey things, at least in Apple's world. And even in the Android world, the adoption of 5G has led to pretty much every major product category getting more expensive. So there's not an easy way to add 5G and keep your prices the same. What will the differences be between the HomePod and HomePod Mini apart from the size? I think that's the main thing. But yeah, the more recent report Kang gave was that the HomePod Mini would be $99, which I think is really good because I was expecting it to be more like $150. I was not expecting them to price it at around $99. So I think that's pretty cool. Although I do wonder about the design though, because there were some leakers claiming that HomePod Mini was just going to be the exact same design, just shrunk down, but it would look like a normal HomePod. But the latest report says it's about 3 inches tall. If it's 3 inches tall, I imagine it being a lot wider. I don't imagine a 3-inch tall, normal-looking HomePod. I imagine, chunk pod a little bit. Make it more like the Google Nest Mini or the Echo Dot. It just happens to have Siri and a, decent sound system in it. Chunk pod, right? So, $100 is pretty good, though. Not that I'm going to get one. I have too many smart speakers as is, so I don't plan on getting one. But I think that would sell pretty well, especially if they updated some of the software on it to be a bit more, you can set third-party streaming services on it and that kind of thing. I doubt they'll give it the A8 chip. They'll probably give it A10 or something a little bit newer. But $100 for a Siri speaker, I could see doing pretty well. Not as well as the Echo Dot or the Nest Mini, but definitely a whole lot better than the original HomePod, that's for sure. I don't think the Apple TV will get an A14X chip. The news agencies I saw reporting on that were really, really taking the leak out of context. For one, it's from a leaker called Fudge, who we've talked to pretty regularly because he's in our Discord. And his tweet was that the A12 Apple TV would have A14X-like performance. He didn't say it would have an A14X chip, but people saw that tweet. And Fudge has said a lot of things that didn't end up happening. Nothing personal against Fudge. I'm just saying there's been a lot of stuff he said in our Discord that didn't end up happening. He said all kinds of stuff that didn't age well. So I wouldn't say super reliable. And people were making articles based on that tweet saying that it would have A14X-like performance, saying next Apple TV is going to have an A14X. I'm like, I think you're really stretching it there. I wouldn't go that far. Silverboy, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it. Yeah, the HomePod Mini definitely needs A14X and 5G. That would be major, right? But Bloomberg is also now saying there's going to be a November event. They've got a lot right lately, so November event seems very, very likely now, which is cool. It sounds like we're gonna get iPhone event with Magsafe chargers. Can we talk more about those? Those sound so interesting that we haven't actually seen the design for them, but this late in the game, we're still getting reports that Apple's going to make their own custom wireless charger with a magnetic ring that can dock into place. Sure, it'll probably be expensive, but I'm curious to see how they work. My hope is that they're going to be like adjustable. You can use them flat or you can use them mounted upright because I don't see the point in. I guess I kind of see the point, but the MagSafe thing is kind of cool, but it would be a lot cooler if you could prop it on the phone sitting upright and also set it down if you needed to. Um, just because that whole magnetic, like the charger holding the phone in place thing sounds awesome. Just being able to drop your phone and it holds it there. That would be awesome for car chargers, right? Like you get in your car, you just drop the phone on it and it just holds it in place, and you don't need a case and you don't need an attachment on the back and anything, and it just wirelessly charges that way. I'm very curious. Yeah, your phone could stick to the fridge. That's true. I want to see that. I want to throw my phone at the fridge and have it just. Why do they need a November event? Why not just one big 2 or 3 hour event instead of 3 events in 1 year? David, I don't make the rules. I'm living with the reality that's being handed to me. I didn't think the Time Flies event needed to exist either, and it did. So if we're talking more recent Apple, it seems like they're really, really proud of quadruple UDC. I think they got way too high off of the hype they got from that. They saw all these tweets and all the journalism being written about them. Apple has such high quality production value, and this is the new standard for how pre-recorded events should be. And Apple was like, they love us. They love us. Everyone loves it. Let's do more of this. Let's do more of this. Even if it's stuff that really should not be an event, it's really basic stuff like the iPad 8 or the Apple Watch SE or the Series 6. Things that should not have taken up stage time that could have easily been site refreshes. They're just like, we're bored and we've got a hyped up PR department, so let's just work on having more online events. So for that reason, because Apple was willing to have a 1 hour event just about new Apple Watch bands and an iPad getting a new CPU, then it's totally reasonable, in my opinion, that if they're planning on launching Apple Silicon Macs this year, which very reliable leaker Tim Cook said was going to happen, why wouldn't you have an event just dedicated to the Mac? Why wouldn't you? Of course not. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing will convince me that the Time Flies event should have happened. The iPad Air 4, they could have just waited to announce that. Clearly they aren't shipping it yet. Here we are in October. Why not just, and it sounds like at this point, what is it, Friday? Yeah, it's Friday and it's still not available to order. They could have very, very easily just waited to unveil the Air 4 until the same time they unveiled the iPhone 12s. They could have just saved it for the high-speed event and been like, hey, check out this new, more affordable iPad Air. And it's available to order today, or it's available to order on Friday. That could have been so much easier. And that was probably the biggest part of the Time Flies event. And it wasn't even ready to ship. Everything else about the Time Flies event was so basic. It was so normal. Hey, Cosminator, sub with Twitch Prime for 24 months. Holy cow, that's a lot of support. Thank you very much. Long time no see. Thanks for tuning in. Tim Cook, he does have a 100% track record. That's true. He's doing pretty good. They very much could have waited on the Air 4. Time Flies event did not need to exist. I will stand by that forever. But I'm like you. I would very much have preferred to have one giant event where we announce everything, like iPhones, HomePod Mini, the iPad Air 4, the new Apple Silicon Macs, and have it take up 2.5 or 3 hours. They could probably do all of it within 2 hours if they just didn't have so much fluff, if they didn't dwell so much on boring stuff that we already know. Like, so we already talked about iPad OS, but let's talk about it again because we need to talk about the Apple Pencil that came out 5 years ago for another 5 minutes. So they just go over things we already know. If there was a no fluff, straight to the point, no wasted time event, then they could do everything that has been announced in these 3 events all at one time. They totally could. But Apple would rather stretch their media attention and stretch their press coverage over several months instead of doing it all at once. Everyone likes events, though. I think we like eventful events, Joseph. I'm not a fan of boring events. I recall, especially doing my live reaction to the March 2019 event, not everyone liked that event. In fact, I would say most people did not like that event. It was the first time Apple basically did a 2.5 hour live stream just about monthly subscriptions. And I was doing the live reaction and I covered it that day, and man, people were not happy. Time Flies was not an event, it was an occurrence. Yeah, we like events when there's stuff to talk about. When they have big events that don't have much to talk about, then that's when you result in more people acting like, this is boring, why are we here, what are we doing? Thoughts on AirPods Studio? Do you think they're coming in October or November? Right now, sounds like if leakers are saying it's not coming out next week, then it probably isn't. And I think I read some reports saying mass production was starting October 20th. But I think that was from the same guy who said they were ready to ship in March. So I don't know which sources he's talking to. But if that part is true and that mass production isn't starting until October 20th, I could see why they would want to wait till November to actually unveil it. Kind of get that, but at the same time, they unveiled the Air 4 a month in advance, even though it wasn't ready to ship, and that was pretty much the star of the show. They unveiled that then, so why not unveil AirPods Studio next week and just say, well, it'll ship in a month or something? I don't know. They could do that, but not sure. My wife needs a new phone. I don't care about a new iPad. I don't think most people cared because, deep down, we all knew the Air 4. Yeah, if you compare the Air 4 to the Air 3, it feels like a big change, but most of us are comparing the Air 4 to the 11-inch iPad Pro. And for that reason, it's not that big a deal. It's basically, the Time Flies event was basically 2018 hardware with more colors. Apple Watch Series 6, it's the same design you saw from 2018. It just comes in red and blue now. And budget iPad is literally just a CPU upgrade. That was it. And then the iPad Air 4 is, hey, everyone, check out the 2018 iPad Pro with more color options now. Yay, cool. The Air is a big deal if you want an 11-inch Pro and now you're just stuck. Yeah, if you want an 11-inch Pro, the Air 4 came out and confused you. It just made everyone insecure. That's all it did. I didn't see a lot of people that were just like, oh, the Air 4, that's exactly what I needed. It was like, no, you probably should just opt for the Pro. 100 bits from Dexus. Thank you very much. Appreciate the donation. The events are not for tech people, but for normal journalists that never read about the leak or the product. Ajabi or Agabi, I don't know. Ajaib, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm pretty sure there's 5 different ways. But you say that, but then there's whole designated portions to the event where they talk about Apple Silicon and transistors and processors. And they'll dwell for 15 minutes on the A14 chip and talk about how CPUs and GPUs work and machine learning. I don't know how you can argue that that's not for tech people. It kind of is. I would argue that the events are kind of for tech people. The average consumers won't watch the events. They're going to scroll through Twitter and see an ad for it. And they'll be like, ooh, it can be a pretty new color. I'll get that one. That's the average consumer. The people who actually go to Apple's website. This may be anecdotal, but I don't know any average consumer in my personal life that watches Apple events. Genuinely. Like someone who's just living life regularly, I have to remind them that an Apple event is taking place. Someone comes up to me and been like, hey, how was work going? And I was like, oh, it's pretty good. It's kind of getting exciting because there's an Apple event on Tuesday. And they'll be like, oh, there is? Huh. I don't think the events are for the average person or even the average journalist. But the Apple Pencil, it needs more explaining. Yeah, I know. I would argue they are for tech people. There's a lot of stuff in those events that are not that interesting to the average consumer or average journalist. Can the Air 4 and iPhone 11 have a child and create the USB-C iPhone of our dream? I know. I'm sad we're probably never going to get USB-C on the iPhone. It would be so nice. I'm charging my OnePlus with USB-C right now, and it's so easy that I just unplugged it from my iPad and plugged it into the Android. I won't be able to do that. But hopefully these Magsafe chargers are cool. Let's see. Nerd stuff is the best part of the event, in my opinion. I don't care about the iPhone is green now. True. when they break down the Touch ID sensor on the iPad Air 4 and show all the manufacturing methods that went into it, yeah, I don't think average consumer cares about that. I just need to know, okay, it has Touch ID. The average consumer can check the newsroom page and pretty much get everything they need. Quadruple UDC was so fluff-free. It's sad to see the fall events being so chocked full of fluff. I mean, I'm expecting the majority of this event to be 5G and AR demos. Yeah, I hope not. I hope that's not it. But it sounds like it could be relatively packed. If there's new iPhones, which, let's be honest, out of all the hardware releases this year, that's the one that there's the most to talk about. Like, it's easy to forget that Quadruple UDC was the first Apple event of 2020, but it was, and there was no hardware there. So all the changes coming to the iPhone, between OLED becoming standard across the lineup, the new chassis with the squared off edges, and 5G A14 chip, the new cameras. I personally think this is a big year, and I'm still confused why there's a lot of people acting like it's not that big a year. They're like, other than the design and the display and the CPU, it's not that big. It's like, yeah, if we ignore the changes, there's no changes. If you think if you think 2020 is a minor year and it's not that big a deal, this is as big as it gets, guys. New form factors, new designs, OLED becoming standard. Like, I don't know what else you were expecting. This is pretty much as big as it gets. People are acting like, oh, it's not that big a deal because there's no 120 hertz. That 120 hertz is a spec thing. It's not a design change. That's not something average consumers notice, as people like to remind me 80 times a day. Drew, 120 hertz, it's not that big a deal. I don't notice it. It's like, okay. I agree. Those people are just salty. The other thing is when people accuse Apple of not being innovative anymore because they don't have some Android tech spec. Like, I'm a big fan of 120 hertz. Don't get me wrong, I want that. But acting like having that is an innovative feature is ridiculous. That's just stupid. People are like, Apple doesn't innovate anymore with no 120 hertz and the notch being the same size. It's like, so shrinking the notch is innovation now? I don't know. To me, that would not be innovation, even if they did shrink the notch. Oh, yeah, we also got to talk about Apple Fitness Plus and Apple One. They'll probably talk more about that. This October event will probably be close to 2 hours. Just guessing, but that's my prediction. I remember you said we have a fascination with displays. If the display doesn't change, we say it's a boring upgrade. Yeah, but now people are even saying it's a boring upgrade if there is a display change. That's true. I remember saying that years ago. Maybe I said it this year or something. But yeah, like, I've noticed that maybe because when I first started the tech channel, most of what was coming out was like, I remember one of the first iPhone prediction videos I ever made was iPhone 6 predictions. All right, so this kind of dates me back how long I've been doing this. I started the tech channel in early 2014, and one of the first iPhone videos I did was, what are they going to do with the iPhone 6? And we had the 6. Obviously, I bought that. I talked about it and reviewed it and everything. And then we had the 6S, and people were like, oh, okay, it's kind of an S year, not that big. There's a few changes here and there. And then the iPhone 7 came out. There was a lot of leaks, and there was a lot of hype, and my channel got really big after the 7 because there was a lot of talk when it came to the removal of the headphone jack. There was lots of controversy, and I was defending it, saying this is a good idea. And obviously, most of the internet was like, this is a bad idea. Drew, you're an idiot. But a lot of people admired, I guess, my Saul Goodman-esque defense mechanism and decided to subscribe to the channel. And that's where I grew a lot. And there was still, I recall that year, a lot of complaints of people saying it's just another S year because the display hasn't changed. So a lot of people act like if there's no changes with the display, it's not that big a deal, because if it looks the same from the front, then really nothing has changed. But now that we're getting new form factors, new screen sizes, new display standards across the whole lineup, I think that feature alone is going to make it a super cycle. That's going to make a lot of people upgrade. Just that alone. Doesn't matter if there's 5G or not. A 14 chip, 5 nanometer doesn't matter as much to the average consumer. Just the fact that it looks different from last year's, and it's very noticeable from every angle. From the side it looks different, from the front it looks different. OLED becoming more affordable. That in itself will get a ton of people to upgrade just by looking at it, because I think ultimately that's what most iPhone sales are, just people looking in the news. Hey, that one looks good. I'll get that one. iPhone 6 versus iPhone SE 2020. No, I agree. There's lots of major changes you can make to a phone without changing the display. Like I thought 11 Pro Max was a very big upgrade. Switching from 10s Max to 11 Pro Max, I noticed a bunch of changes, even though the front of the device looked basically the same. And I felt the same way about the iPhone 7. You know, iPhone 7, we had water resistance for the first time. We had no headphone jack, but better battery life. And we had the solid state home button, and we had stereo speakers. The A10 chip was a big jump. Portrait mode. I thought there were all kinds of stuff that were noticeable with the iPhone 7, but the average commenter on YouTube was just like, not that big a deal. Looks the same. Looks just like the 6S. Who cares? And, you know, to a certain extent, I guess they have a point. If it looks the same from the front, is it really that different? I loved my 11 Pro Max. I've been thinking about doing a 1 year later video on it since we're getting near the end. I guess it's been over a year now, huh? I got my 11 Pro Max in September of 2019, so it's 13 months later. I am stoked for season 6 of Better Call Saul, absolutely. 6S was truly an S year, like the epitome of S years. In my opinion, yeah, 4S and 6S were about as small as iPhone upgrades can get. Some people say 10S, but you got to admit the 10R and 10S Max were pretty big changes. Yeah, if it was just nothing else came out and it was just the 10S, then yeah, I would agree. But the truth is, it wasn't just the 10S. There were 3 new iPhones that year, not 1. Whereas, and you know, there was only one size for the iPhone 10 beforehand. So the fact that they jumped up to 10S Max, that was a big deal. Biggest screen on an iPhone ever. And 10R was really, really popular. And more affordable. So there were lots of changes in 2018. If we're just talking 10 to 10S, yeah, that's a small upgrade. But if we're talking years as a whole, I would say 4S and 6S were pretty much as small as it gets. Pretty much the big upgrade was 4K and 3D Touch, which we all know how big of a feature 3D Touch ended up being. Cyberplays, thank you for the 70 bits. Got to use a demo Air 4 at my Apple store today. Blue looks nice. May just get a regular 12 for that sky blue. Cool. Glad you enjoyed it. Dexus donated some bits. Says, why watch the iPhone event if you can use the time to order the revolutionary, groundbreaking, and amazing Z Fold 2 by the creators of Samsung Milk Music? That's a great point, Dexus. I think we all should just... Don't watch the Apple event, guys. Just stare at the Z Fold 2 order page for a while. Make sure to finance it. Make sure to get it on that 4-year installment plan. You'll still be paying it off when it gets discontinued, but oh my God, it's so beautiful. In my opinion, everything is sarcasm. I do not give financial advice. There, done. HomePod Mini is rumored to be $100 for those just tuning in. $99, but only 3 inches tall. That's all we know about it. They didn't say much else. If it turns out that the HomePod Mini is just, you know, decent sounding, but not quite as loud as the regular HomePod, I don't think I need to buy that to review, to be honest. Maybe if there were some extra features, I can't even think of anything. But if there were some extra features that set it apart from the regular HomePod, maybe I would consider picking one up to review, but I've got way too many smart speakers. I used to have that big office, so it made sense to have all these speakers throughout the place. But once we downsized because we realized all that office space was a waste of money, we are now living in a small house and we've got speakers everywhere. We got a speaker in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, in here. Actually, I don't have one in here anymore, but I've got my iPad and my iPhone and my watch for Siri. So HomePod Mini needs a Slofi button. I agree. That would make it much more interesting. And also, yeah, they extended the TV Plus free trial. I guess if you redeemed Apple TV Plus in the first 3 months it was available, they're going to extend that another 3 months. So ordinarily, my TV Plus would have ended at the end of this month because I started my free year on November 1st. But now they're going to push it until February 1st. So I'll have up till January, which is good because I actually just started watching a few shows on TV Plus. And the main reason I started watching them was because me and my wife were like, well, we're going to lose this at the end of the month. We better watch them now because we're never going to get to watch them in the future because we do not plan on ever paying for TV Plus. And we watched all of Little America. We watched Trying. And we've started watching The Long Way Up. And I'm enjoying Long Way Up just because I'm a big fan of the previous documentaries that Ewan McGregor and Charlie were in. And I like Rivian and their electric cars, which is what a lot of Long Way Up is. But it's coming out periodically, like one episode a week. And I think a new episode just dropped today. And I was like, oh, this is kind of a nice show. I wouldn't pay money for it, but I'll take the free. I'll take the free trial. Yeah, I'll take the free year, or now the free 15 months. So I'll probably get to finish the show, and then it can end. Cool. I stuck my Z Fold 2 on my imaginary air power, and the entire Earth exploded just due to the raw power and intensity. Just exploded out of the raw power. Obi-Wan Ken Eevee. Hey, that's good. That's good, Mike. I give you 18 Tailosive points for that pun. Now you've paid off the mortgage. Are you just saving or spending some more? We're mostly investing. Pretty much like 80-90% of what we make, we're investing in mutual funds and index funds and that kind of thing. We want to turn that money into more money so that we don't have to work anymore. But this isn't work to me. I feel like I've already retired. I'll probably do this until the day I die. But to have the option for YouTube to crash and burn and for us to not, run out of money would be nice. So it'd be kind of cool if our passive income covered our monthly expenses, so that even if something did happen to YouTube, my goal is basically, how do I plan my life so I never have to go back to school? That's my driving force in the future. How do I make sure that there's no reason I will ever have to go to school again because I hated school so much? So that's my goal right now. I don't watch Law and Order, no, but thank you for the bits. You should watch Defending Jacob or For All Mankind. Those were my favorites. They're not something my wife would be terribly interested in. But I might. I don't know. I might try a few episodes. Little America was pretty good. I didn't think I was going to like that, but we watched a few episodes and we had a good time. I think the first episode of Little America, I think, was my favorite one. I tried to watch the morning show. I hated it. I can't stand seeing those actors trying to perform dramatic roles. I'm not into that type of show, really. I don't know. There's certain dramas I like, but I tried the morning show and I couldn't get into it. And my good buddy Nick Ann Sweeney watched For All Mankind and he had a bunch of issues with it and he couldn't recommend it. So I don't know. It feels like a lot of these things would be better movies than TV shows, to be honest. It's very subjective. Some of you may like it, some of you may not. I'm just going to watch what I like. iPhone 12 was the friend we made along the way. I should can someone make a fake TV Plus poster that instead of defending Jacob, it's defending iPhone 12 and it's a, black and white picture of me doing that Chris Evans pose. Or just defending Apple. Oh, that would be great. Oh my God. What exactly is going on with Space Gray? Oh, I don't know. They can never make up their mind on Space Gray. It changes every year. It's kind of funny that people think if the Apple TV has an A14X, it's all it takes to compete with Sony and Microsoft. Yes. Thank you, Dexus. Can we go over this again, people? Just because the Apple TV gets a good CPU and GPU, that does not mean that a bunch of game devs will instantly start supporting it. It doesn't work that way. Again, game devs will not spend time or money. Doesn't matter how easy Apple makes it. Doesn't matter how simple the dev port is. If they don't see there being much financial gain by porting their app over to a platform, whether it's macOS or tvOS, they're not going to spend the time to do it because they know their sales will be so low that it's not worth the investment. Doesn't matter how easy Apple makes it. The devs aren't going to see it as worth it, in my opinion. Even if it's like, well, if you optimize it for iOS, it's already optimized for the Mac. It's just optimize the way the app runs on the phone will not instantly port over to a desktop or a TV as easy as people are making it sound. I wonder if Epic Games will support it. Oh yeah, I think Epic Games likes Apple, right? They get along great. No, The Apple TV, again, I will repeat, the Apple TV is not a good console competitor. It's not going to do well against the Xbox or the PlayStation. And it sickens me whenever they say console level performance. It's like, oh my God. You know what consoles do now, right? Don't call it console level performance. You can make the Chris Evans. Can you make the Chris Evans pose so I can make it? Okay, I'll get the microphone out of the way here. You gotta make the pose. How do I make it easier for you? I'll just. I don't know, something like that. Defending Apple exclusively on TV Plus. Apple Halo Infinite will be exclusive to iOS. Now that would be interesting. What if they made it exclusive to Apple Arcade? Apple signs an exclusive deal with Microsoft. Oh my God. I have this moronic, I hope he can't hear me, or I hope he's not a fan of the show, but I have this moronic neighbor that recently got a motorcycle, and he has decided that he wants to rev it up as loud as he can at least 3 or 4 times a day. And one time he did it at like 6 in the morning. Luckily I was awake working already, but still, just like, I imagine other people on the street must find that really, really annoying, because he keeps revving it. He's doing it right now. You probably can't hear it on the mic, but it annoys the crap out of me, because he'll do it at like 9 p.m. too. And when we have our early days, we try to get to bed early. So when it's like you're trying to sleep and people are just like, it's like, my God, can you stop? Ugh. It's me. I am your neighbor. How dare you? There you are. You know what? I don't actually care. I don't mind if he hears me, because what revving up the motorcycle in the early morning annoys the crap out of me. Oh well. You just gotta live with it, I guess. Maybe I should put a banana in the tailpipe for legal reasons. That's a joke. Can you please make the dinosaur sound again? I don't know what the dinosaur sound is, but thank you for the bits. This is why we need EVs. I know, right? I was just thinking. I'm watching the Long Way Up, which is all about these Harley live wires, these electric motorcycles. They don't make that noise. I guess some motorcyclists like that noise. I don't like it. It's annoying to me. Please stop. What one leak for Tuesday do you think probably won't happen, but you would love to happen? Probably won't happen, but I would love to happen. I mean, I don't know if it's a leak, but I would love it if there wasn't a November event and they just decided to have a 2.5-hour Apple event with iPhones and Apple Silicon Max and AirPod Studio, HomePod Mini. Just one big event, get it all over with, and we're done with events for the year. I would like that. I'd appreciate that. iPhone getting MagSafe. First, the iPad Pro became the biggest fridge magnet, and now the iPhone will be the first fridge magnet with 5G. I know. That's what's going to set the iPhone apart of the competition. 5G fridge magnet. That's my new name for it. We're not even going to call it the iPhone again. Are you able to go outside again yet? Yeah, we can actually. Air quality has improved, thankfully. The smoke has gone away, so we can go outside, obviously, just as long as we're socially distant. Imagine the November event being a gaming event. Oh my God. What is it with large companies, whenever they start talking about gamers or they have a gamer come out, it always gets so cringe so fast. Remember the Pixel event where they started that guy using Google Stadia with the remote? It's like, come on, let's try to play some Google Stadia. Oh man, I got a headshot. Like, it automatically just gets so fake and so cringe. I hate it when big companies talk gaming. Ugh. iPhone 42 Plus Max S 5G. Yep, I'll be making leak videos on that probably tomorrow. What happened with you not wanting to make the Discord Tesla server called EV? Next day it's EV. It wasn't next day. It was just I wanted people to understand that I wanted to talk about Tesla first in Discord. And after a while, people just started ignoring that it was Tesla and just started pasting EV stuff in there anyway. And for a while, I would just point at the name and be like, hey, this isn't Tesla related. But the community decided to just keep acting anyway, and I decided that, well, since it's Tailosive EV, might as well call it Tailosive EV, make it the EV channel. So I changed my mind, basically. I decided, you know what? EV is shorter. It looks cleaner. I'm trying to get rid of as many things as I can, selling things off, going more minimal, organizing my office more. So, oh, Starman driver just flew past Mars. That's cool. Will you get the blue 12 Pro Max or sticking with silver? 20 bits from Gabberjune. Thank you. I don't know. I have to see them. Part of me wonders if I should pick up the navy blue option, but it depends on how slight it is, because I'm not really a fan of kind of muted dark colors like that. But if it's more brighter than I'm thinking, then I might pick it up. I don't know. I'm so on the fence with the colors this year that I'm thinking about just running a Twitter poll and saying I'll get the color that wins these results. I'll leave it up to you guys. I'll let my audience dictate. I think I might do that. It might be kind of interesting. What color do I get? What do you guys think I should get? You're probably all going to say navy blue, I'm assuming. Silver 2 years, 3 years in a row now. Maybe. That might work. Let's see. Orange. Some people, I haven't seen any leaks saying that orange is going to happen. I just saw people looking at the invite image saying, well, the invite image is orange, so that means that the product will be orange. I don't think it's that simple. Do you enjoy the high-speed AR experience, or would the LiDAR have made the experience better? I don't think LiDAR can make AR worse. I messed around with LiDAR in the 2020 iPad Pro, and it worked a lot better, but I just don't do those AR experiences that often. Did you already talk about the Bloomberg report on Apple Silicon announcement in November? I did. I kind of made a whole video about it called There Could Be a November Event this year, and basically everything Bloomberg reported on was mentioned in that, not mentioned, but assumed in that video that it was likely. So Bloomberg basically is confirming what I was suspecting. What's your live stream plan for Tuesday's event? Same as September event. Also, did you hear Lou got copyright claimed? No, I didn't, but fill me in. What happened? Did he do a live reaction to Apple's event and then get a strike, or was it a strike or a claim, or what? How did he? I don't follow him, so I don't know what happened. Ace Rockala, thank you for the 100 bits. But yeah, to answer your question, same as usual, same old. So interesting thing, maybe I don't think I've talked about this anywhere, so you guys on Twitch get the early scoop for what's going on with Tailosive, but me and my wife are going to be celebrating our 2-year anniversary next month, so I'm going to be taking a vacation. I'll be away from the office for a little while, and as usual, I plan on making a few videos that come out while I'm away, and it sounds like the November event could end up happening while I'm on my trip. So it might be a little tricky, might be a little weird, but I might be able to do a live reaction and or edited recap video on my vacation. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of interesting. So I might have to pack some equipment. I might have to do some things differently. But yeah, if anyone's asking by the time it happens that I'm doing a November recap video in a different location, you'll know why. It's because I'm gonna be on my trip. I know. I shouldn't work on my vacation. I know, but truth is, Louise could only get a few days off from work anyway, so she's also going to be working on at least a portion of the vacation. So it's not the end of the world, but I wouldn't want to necessarily just skip out on the entire event and just be on break while everything happens. For one, because, no matter how many times I disclose that I'm going to be away, people are going to be like, Drew, talk about this. What do you think of this? And I personally would feel bad missing out on that just because it's kind of my job position. But don't worry, she'll get my attention the rest of the time I'm away. Wait till you're back. Congrats on the 2-year anniversary. I know it's easy for you guys to say that. It's very easy for the viewer to just be like, I don't mind not watching a 10-minute video, but for me, that impacts my channel's performance and my revenue pretty substantially if I just decide to skip out on that kind of thing. And don't worry, because she's going to be taking some time on the trip to work as well. I think she'll be able to work remotely for a little bit. So it's not like I'm going to be completely ignoring her, because she's going to be busy during certain portions of it as well. And I think that while she's working, I'll do the event stuff. But should be fun. But what did you guys say about Unbox? Lou got copyright claims? Did you guys fill me in? He did a live reaction to Apple, but I don't know if he got claimed for that. Huh. It's interesting. Thank you for the preemptive anniversary wishes, though. Appreciate that. Drew, film a video beforehand and use a time machine. That's true. I should try and... I'll try and see if I can make a recap video. You know what I could do? Because a lot of people were asking if I did this. So obviously, when Apple announced the October event, I quickly got the camera and everything ready and recorded and edited and uploaded as fast as I could. And I think that was record time. It was 40 minutes. It went from announcement at 9 o'clock to publishing the video at 9:40. So that, I think, was a personal record. I may have beat that before, but I don't recall. But I think a lot of people saw that and they were like, even John Morrison, he was like, did you pre-record this? Did you just like say everything that could be at this event and then publish it when Apple confirmed it? And I was like, well, no, I didn't do that, but that's a really good idea. Because honestly, all of that video that whole video just talking about the event being announced is basically just talking about what leaks are currently saying. So you could probably do that preemptively. And because Apple is getting so predictable now, frankly, like the last two events were announced a week before they took place. And the November event is most likely going to be the second Tuesday. There's a slight chance it could be the third Tuesday, but not likely. Most likely going to be November 10th, because that's the second Tuesday. So I'll pre-record the video, and then once the announcement is officially made, I'll take the invite images, screenshot them, drop them into the timeline, so it seems not like it's not pre-recorded, because it's like, oh, well, he got the images and he's got the date and everything, and then he talks about all the things that could happen. So I could bypass the whole recording process, already have the video edited, just without the B-roll. Once the event announcement is made, screenshot, drop it in a few times, export, upload, and probably get the video up like 15 or 20 minutes after the announcement is made. I think I'm going to try to do that. So you Twitch viewers now know the secret plan. It could all fall apart, so it's possible this might not work out. I thought of one thing, which was that if you don't know when the official date of the event is going to be, you just have to leave in a few options. So we're pretty convinced, because November 11th is Veterans Day, so I doubt they would do it on a Wednesday. But just in case maybe it is the third Tuesday, when I'm recording the video, I'll be like, it's official. Apple just announced November 10th is the next Apple event. And then I'll go, November 17th is the next Apple event. And whichever one it ends up being, I just go with that one. I could get this up in record time, even though the video itself could end up being... This is so cool. What if the video was like 10 minutes, but it gets published 5 minutes after it was announced? Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Look at them wheels just turning. I think I can do it. I think this will work. It's not foolproof, but it's YouTube proof. I think this could work. Matthew was saying Apple will not announce an event on the 3rd. Well, I was saying for weeks that they were going to announce the October event on the 6th, and that's exactly what happened. So many people thought it was pre-recorded, and it wasn't, but again, that's a really good idea. I'll film it at 1080p so it can export really fast, and then the longest part of the process will just be the export and the upload time. It sounds like you just want time travel. Obviously, if there was time travel, I would do that. That would be a lot easier. I think you can. I thought that's what you did for the last Apple event. That's my point, though. If so many of you think that I'm already doing it, why not just start doing it and make even incredible time? Because right now, like 40 minutes is about as fast as I can get. Because I was expecting the announcement on October 6th. That was like I woke up this morning telling my wife, like, I already know what today's tech video is going to be about. I'm just waiting for Apple to confirm it. But I realize if I'm waiting around for them to confirm it, why not just film it already? I can't believe Apple announced this. Insert screenshot. This is so exciting. What do you all think about this exciting new announcement? Yeah, just do cutaway shots in ADR every time there's something specific. The tagline for the event is "Time flies." So it would be so easy to do that too, because I would just set up my microphone in the exact same place and be standing where I was before. And then just when there's little details of like the announcement has some cool little designs on, I'll just record those extra steps and then add in the cutaway shots. That would be so easy. Just because they're giving their employees a day off on November 3rd doesn't mean they can't announce anything. You can do scheduled newsroom posts. That's really easy. Tim Cook parody just did the defending Apple picture. Thank you so much for making that. That's hilarious. I'm retweeting it. That's wonderful. Defending Apple. What did you say? It took me 5 days. I brought it up earlier in the live stream and you're saying it took me 5 days to make this. Oh my God. How long has the stream background been different? Oh, this is the second time I rearranged my office a couple days ago. So this is just the second stream. Many dinosaurs still working on it. Okay, well, he did okay. I appreciate the work, Timothy Cook, but it is a little sloppy. The masking is a little pixelated and the Apple logo isn't very clean. So there's still a chance to beat his. His was done a little forcefully, but I still appreciate it. Still made me laugh. Yep. So there's still time. I do not have an Apple mask. Can you buy one? I didn't know if you could buy one or not. They will announce the November of 10th event, either the 2nd or the 4th, not the 3rd. I don't see why they would do it less than a week beforehand. I'm just saying that just because the day is off doesn't mean they can't announce anything. You can schedule a newsroom post. You know, you can just set the default. It's Apple we're talking about here. They know how to schedule an email. It's not that hard. They could do it. I haven't actually used that many widgets, to be honest with you. Like, I haven't been happy with widgets. I think I did a video on that. Like, the widgets are too big, in my opinion, and they're not that interactive or informative. So my default home screen is still just the basic, what I had it as before. And over here, I have the batteries widget. So I can check on batteries, but that's about it. There's not that many widgets I like, to be honest. I would like them a lot more if you could make them smaller and interactive, because right now they're not that useful. If I want, like, just widgets, I'll swipe like this. I'll do the old-fashioned widgets thing. I have a smart stack and 2 out of 4 batteries widget. There you go. That could work. I mean, it's better than before. Some widgets are better than 0 widgets, but still, I feel like there's plenty of room for widgets to improve. They don't announce invitations, products, release dates, nothing. So just because it's an election day, Apple wouldn't announce an event? Okay. Maybe November 2nd then. I'll get ready then. I'll talk about all the things that are rumored to announce. I'll pre-record the video and then drop some things in at the last second. Stocks widget is really nice. Yeah, it's not giving you that much, and I'd rather just open the Stocks app, to be honest. Oh, man. Okay, battery widget is my fave. I used Widgetsmith for date and time, but that's about it. Okay. What widgets are... Yeah, we already answered that. If the iPhone 12 doesn't have flex mode... Oh, it'll have flex mode. You just have to sit on it. It's very easy. Very simple. Let's be honest. Apple could just get people to work on the day anyways. Yeah, that's true. Why can't they do the portrait video if they have the LiDAR and A14? I don't know. No one said they're not doing portrait video. Maybe it's just too gimmicky. Maybe Apple decided it doesn't look right. They want to iron it out or something. I don't know. But honestly, portrait mode video has been a thing on several Galaxy phones, and I don't see that many people using it in the first place. Flex mode is Gold Pro Max, right? I don't know what it is, but I don't dig the latest gold iPhones. I don't like the look of it. Yeah. iPhone 12 is boring. Next day. OMG, Pixel 5 is such a good deal. I'm not into sports, sadly, so I can't really justify the widget for that reason alone. But I know what I wanted to talk about. I did not enjoy the staggered release of the fact that there's 3 different pre-order dates this year for the iPhone 12. That's if Kang ends up being correct, which he got a lot right last time. So October 16th, pre-orders for the 6.1-inch iPhones, both of them. November 6th for the 12 mini, and then November 13th for the 12 Pro Max. That's a lot of early mornings I have to get up for. And it sucks because it throws off my whole plan. My plan was just to get the smallest and the biggest. But now, if I do that, I don't get any iPhones until November, which I wanted to get, iPhones when they came out. I want to get them as early as possible, just like everybody on YouTube. So now I'm going to have to get a 6.1-inch model and the Mini and the Pro Max. It's just going to be a big mess. I'm selling my 11 Pro Max. Verbally, it's already been sold to my dad, but I told my dad I'll give it to him when I get my new iPhone. So as soon as I get a 12, I'll hand off the 11 to my dad. Do you know what Macs are coming in November? Just theories, really. Just rumors, nothing really concrete. Quo said there would be a 24-inch iMac released with the redesign, iPad Pro design looking iMac with Apple Silicon in it. And a few leakers, I think, have said a Apple Silicon powered MacBook, like a 13-inch MacBook Pro. And I've seen others say it would be a MacBook Air. So a thin, compact MacBook of some kind alongside a updated iMac. So that's pretty much all I know. 1,100 bits. Wow, from Chris Norton. Thank you very much. He said, have some bits. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's a lot. Chris Norton always coming in here dropping all the bits. Do you think we will get the Mac between the Mini and Pro? Not at this event, but there's been no rumors or leakers talking about a mid-tier Mac of some kind. I want it. Don't get me wrong. I would love for it to be real, but I haven't heard anything. You might as well buy all 4 iPhones while you're at it. No, those 2 6.1-inch iPhones are just so dang similar. I don't know. For the same reason I didn't need to buy the Apple Watch SE, I bought the Series 6, and I gave you my opinions on that. And after reviewing the Series 6, I was like, okay, don't get this. Just get the SE. Because I can pretend this is an SE, just imagining it being space gray and without the blood oxygen and without the ECG. And I already have the always-on display turned off. So I don't need to buy the SE to tell you to buy it. So I'll probably... Because if these pre-order dates end up being real, again, it could end up not being real. Maybe Kang is wrong on this one. But if he does end up being correct, I'll probably end up reserving the 12 Pro just because that has the extra features, and I can just ignore those features if I want to pretend I'm reviewing the regular iPhone 12. So I could be like, okay, this is what LiDAR's like, and it'll probably be fairly similar to my Series 6 review, except I won't end up keeping the 12 Pro under no circumstances. I can't imagine a single situation why I would end up keeping the 12 Pro, because I'm already agreeing to selling my 11 Pro Max, but I'm split between whether I want to get the 12 mini or the 12 Pro Max. I don't know. Can't tell. Do you think the 12 mini will have bad battery life worse than the SE? I don't think so. I think that the battery on it will be small, that's for sure, because it's such a small device. But I think the A14 chip is going to have really good low power efficiency, and the fact that the resolution is going to be a lot lower than things like the iPad Air 4, which does have the A14 chip, but for the record, we don't know what the battery size is on the Air 4. Maybe it's smaller than we think. I don't know. But I think that A14 chip was going to be all about power efficiency, and Kang talked about this smart data mode where they switch between 5G and 4G somehow to make battery life better. I don't think it'll be that bad, though. That's all my point is. Because the display is smaller, it should draw less power. So The fact that it's OLED, which instantly gives it less power consumption than LCD display, like on the iPhone SE, and the A14 chip is going to be better at power efficiency. I think the 12 mini will have the same battery life as like the 10R or the 11. Like it'll easily get you through the day. And then everything else will just have much, much better battery. How do you think the MagSafe Duo charger will look like? I expected a puck for the single cable. I don't know. I want it to be customizable. I want it to be something that can lay flat or upright, because I feel like the magnetic charge puck thing would be really, really handy if it had multiple options, just like the Apple Watch charge puck. You can have it in nightstand mode or lay it flat. And if it's going to be magnetic, like the Apple Watch, then why not have it sit upright and you can snap it in place while still using it and that kind of thing. Perfect for your desk. But then if you're at a nightstand, you can lay it flat. That's what I'm hoping. Something somewhat customizable. I do like my Pixel stand. It's my favorite Google product. I still use it every day. But if they made something like the Pixel stand that you could lay flat when you needed to, that would be dope. I wish Apple made a Mac, not a, hey, look, I'm a $5,000 computer with a Xeon processor that justifies me only having 256 gig base storage, sponsored by Hot Wheels. I know. I want that too. I very much do. Oh, he did another design. Defending Apple. Whoa! That's a lot better one. Good job. Very, very good job. I want to retweet that one too. Sorry, Twitter followers that are going to get the same concept art all over again. Ooh, Apple iDesigner dropped some new renders too. Color options with close-up detail. Dang. Are you guys following Apple _iDesigner on Twitter? He makes great stuff. Oh my God. Those look awesome. You think the bezels are going to be smaller across the iPhone 12 line? I do, because of the squared off edges. So it may not look like they're much smaller in the renders, but the stainless steel rounded edges of our current iPhones add quite a bit of space between the display and the edge of the phone. And with them more flat, I think that'll make it easier to push the display to the edge. I wish Apple made a... Yeah, we made that. The rumored resolution of the 12 mini is not that low, 2079 by 960. Yeah, I'm just saying it's lower than the rest of the iPhones. But it will have the same A14 chip as the rest of the iPhones. So I don't think the battery life will be that bad, because it's still being branded as the 12 series. You know, it's still part of the flagship lineup. So I could see it. That's coming from a guy who doesn't like renders, and you don't like most renders, but his are just so dang accurate looking. They look like they're straight from Apple, to be honest. He got all the blue and the green and the red colors right. Dang, those look good. Nice. Always on display iPhone. I'm not a fan of always on displays, to be honest. I've had them on a few Androids and I always end up turning them off. But I guess they could. There's nothing wrong with the option. I'm fine with them adding the option. But they've had the option since 2017 with the OLED iPhones, and they haven't done it. So I imagine they probably still don't want to. What about a notification dot in the notch? Is that possible? Not really. There's nothing that you can visibly see up there that would light up. They could put a red dot next to the notch on the OLED display, but I think Apple has something about the display being off. There's some metaphorical or, I don't know, psychological thing they like about the display just being completely off for some reason. So who is the render person on Twitter? His name is Apple _iDesigner. And in my opinion, he makes the best renders. I haven't seen renders any more spot on than his. He's really, really good. Do Androids even use notification dots anymore? I think they stopped doing that, actually. I think most Android phones don't do it anymore. But anyway, I appreciate all of you Twitch priming and all of your bit donations today, guys. This is probably going to be my last Twitch stream until my reaction stream, so stay tuned for that. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm excited that the wait is almost over. We can finally get some answers on these iPhones and finally put it behind us, and then start talking about next year's iPhones, which will be very, very boring. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Appreciate it, and I hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.